Hey everyone, welcome to my channel. Today we're going to be doing something interesting at the request of JT Villain. We are going to be ranking all of Black Label Society's albums. And we're starting with Sonic Brew, released in 1998, I believe. This is going to great. Solid album, all the way through with Bored to Tears, Rose Petaled Garden, Hey You, Batch of Lies, Born to Lose, Peddlers of Death, Mother Mary, Beneath the Tree, Low Down, TAZ is a solid instrumental. Lost My Better Half, Black Pearl, Road of Trouble, Spoke in the Wheel, and The Beginning at Last. And their cover of No More Tears is solid as well. The other thing about this album is it's a little long. It's like 15 tracks, and I'm pretty certain this is a little over an hour, so it's a little long. But honestly, there's no bad tracks on here, and every track is like at least an 8. So great album, but they just have better. Like with the next album, Stronger Than Death. This is going to fantastic. Almost Made Perfection. Like, All For You is a 10 out of 10 track, but Phony Smiles and Fake Hellos is a 9 out of 10. Same with 13 Years of Grief is a 10 out of 10. Rust is a beautiful piano ballad. I also love Super Terrorizer, Counterfeit God, Ain't Life Grand, Just Killing Time, Stronger Than Death, the title track, and Love Rain Down are all great tracks. I'm not even kidding. Like, this album is like a 9.9 in my opinion. I unironically mean that as well. This album is like a 9.9. Very close to perfection, but I have two albums that are better than this. Next up, we have 1919 Eternal. And this album is honestly my least favorite. It's going to good. Solid opener with Bleed for me. Lords of Destruction is solid as well. Same with Demise of Sanity. Actually, no. Yeah. Bleed for me is like a 7. Lords of Destruction's an 8. Demise of Sanity is an 8. Same with Live, Birth, Blood, Doom. Bridge to Cross is a decent 8. Battering Ram's a 7. Same with Speedball. Radio Disciples is an 8. Genocide Junkies is an 8. Same with Lost Heaven. And Refuse to Bow Down. And Mass Murder Machine and Berserkers. And America the Beautiful is a light 8. So this album, while still being pretty good, is my least favorite out of their entire discography, but it's still going to good tier. This still gets a recommendation out of me, even though it's my least favorite. But next up, we have my favorite album from these guys, from Zakk Wylde and Black Label Society, The Blessed Hell Ride. This is going to perfection. Just really taking all the lessons they learned on the last 3 albums and perfecting it. Excellent opener with Stoned and Drunk and Doomsday Jesus and Stillborn and Suffering Overdue, The Blessed Hell Ride, Funeral Ball, Final Solution, Destruction Override, Blackened Waters, We Live No More, and Dead Metal. Killing it from beginning to end on this one. I also appreciate how tight and consistent this is, too. It's only 11 tracks. And no track exceeds over like maybe like 4.5 minutes. So I really appreciate that. Next up, we have Hangover Music Volume 4. And this album is going to the bottom of fantastic. Solid opener with Crazier High and Queen of Sorrow. Like all both of those are 9 out of 10. Same with Stone, Yesterday, Today, Tomorrow, Taklia Esteban? Is that how you pronounce it? Esteban? I think so. Won't Find It Here, She Deserves a Free Fried, Battle Song, House of Doom, Damage is Done. My personal favorite on here, though, is Lane. Very touching and well thought out tribute to Lane Staley. I'm actually going to give that one a 10 out of 10. but the rest is like a 9 out of 10. Very solid album all the way through. Fantastic album. It's, once again, kind of like the debut with Sonic Brew. It's a little long at 15 tracks, but not a bad track on here. I strongly recommend checking this out. Now, next up we have Mafia. And this album is where I may be getting. I may get some shit from hardcore Black Label Society fans because I do not put this in perfection, actually. I put it at the. I. You know what? I'm gonna put it at the top of Fantastic. It's tied with Stronger for Death. Both of these are like 9.9s, but you could argue for either of these going into perfection, and I wouldn't argue with you, but I'm only doing 2 perfection just to make this video more interesting. But great opener with Fire It Up and What's In You and Suicide Messiah. I also love Forever Down. And now my favorite track from Black Label Society is on this album with In This River. A very somber and touching ballad to Dimebag Darrell of Pantera that was actually shot literally a couple of months before this album dropped in 2005. This album dropped in 2005 as well. Very heartbreaking listen for that one. I also love You Must Be Blind and Death March, but Dr. Octavio, a 50-second interlude, is not perfect, unfortunately. But that's the sad part, because the rest of this album is perfect, but that one interlude is the only thing that's keeping it out of perfection tier. I am not even joking. That is how perfect all these songs are, that are literally that a small interlude can drag it down. Not even joking. But that's just my opinion, though. Next up, we have Shot to Hell. And this album is going to amazing. Great opener with Concrete Jungle and Black Mass Reverence, and Blacked Out World, and The Last Goodbye, and Give Yourself to Me, and Nothing's the Same, and Hell is High, and New Religion. Every track on here is like a light 9, honestly. It's a little weaker than the last 3 albums, but still an amazing record, still worth checking out, at least in my opinion. But next up, we have the, I believe it's, the Order of Black. Yeah, the Order of Black. Just wanted to make sure. Sorry. This album is going to. This album is going to the top of amazing. It almost gave Hangover Music Volume 4 a run for its money, no joke. Yeah, solid opener with Crazy Horse. I also like Overlord and Parade of the Dead and Darkest Days and Black Sunday. Excuse me. I also really like Southern Dissolution, and Time Waits for No One, and Godspeed Hellbound. But my 2 personal favorites, though, are War of Heaven and Shallow Grave. Both of those are like strong 9s. I really recommend checking both of those out. Chupacabra is also a solid interlude. Same with Riders of the Damned and January. Solid album from beginning to end, honestly. Very solid album. I would actually recommend checking this out over Shot to Hell, actually. But next up, we have crap. I'm sorry, y'all. I am brain farting right now. Give me 1 second. I believe this album is called... Sorry, I had to find it. Catacombs of the Black Vatican. I had a major brain fart there. Sorry about that, y'all. This album's going to perfection, though. It's actually probably my second favorite. I actually really love the opening track of Fields of Forgiveness and My Dying Time, Believe, Angel of Mercy, Heart of Darkness, Beyond the Down, Scars, Damn the Flood, I've Gone Away, Empty Promises, and Shades of Grey. Yeah, this album also gives off like a little bit more of like Black Sabbath's Masters of Reality and Volume 4, if you're familiar with those albums. That's what this album kind of reminds me of. That with a hint of like Alice in Chains' Dirt. And honestly, I think this album is on that level of those three albums I mentioned, and I think it is worthy of perfection. Next up, we have Grimmest Hits. This album is going to the middle of amazing. Not a bad album by any means. It's not quite as strong as Order of the Black, but it's a little bit better than Shot to Hell, at least in my opinion. Solid, just a solid album with Trample Down Below and Seasons of Falter and The Betrayal. All That Once Shined is a decent 9. That's actually my favorite track on this album. The Only Words, Room of Nightmares, A Love Unreal, Disbelief, The Day That Heaven Had Gone Away, Illusions of Peace, and Bury Your Sorrow, and Nothing Left to Say are all light 9s. This is a fantastic album, but the one track I would really recommend you guys and gals and everyone else check out from this album is All That Once Shine. That is my personal favorite off this album. But next up, we have their final album for now, because they do have a new album coming out on March the 30th. And if this, and tell you what, if this video gets, let's say 25, 30 views, then I will review the new album. But this album is going to the top of great for Doom Crew Inc. Solid opener with Set You Free, and I also like Destroy and Conquer. I also like You Want Me to Live and Forever and a Day. And End Times. Ruins is also pretty good too. That's another decent 8. Forsaken is one of my personal favorites. That's a strong 8. I also like Love Down Rain. That's a decent 8. Gospel of Lies is another personal favorite. That's a strong 8. Shelter Me is a decent 8. And Gather All My Sins is another strong 8. And then we end on a pretty solid note with Farewell Ballad. That is a decent 8. Solid album. Solid album from beginning to end. And personally, I was thinking for a hot minute there that this was going to be Black Label Society's last album until Ozzy died. Because now I feel like, since Zakk Wylde was the guitarist for Ozzy for some of his biggest albums, you know, like No Risk for the Wicked and No More Tears, I feel like he has earned the right to drop a tribute to his fallen friend. And one of the most important people in his life, and I think he's going to make an amazing album. I don't know if it'll be worthy of perfection or be a great album, but I think it's at bare minimum going to be a good album. I have a lot of faith in this man. But that should do it. Tell me your favorite Black Label Society albums in the comments below, please and thank you. Tell me your favorite songs. Tell me how you would do the ranking. Tell me if I got it right. Tell me if I got it wrong. And all of you have a great day, a great weekend, and a great week. I will see all of you next time. Take care, everyone.